Hello all, today we are learning how to create requirement traceability matrix and stakeholder communication plan. Let's start. Building a requirements traceability matrix starts with understanding its true purpose. It is the ultimate safety net for a business analyst. An RTM is a document, usually a well-structured spreadsheet, that maps and traces user requirements with test cases to ensure that no specific business need is overlooked during the development lifecycle. Without it, you risk a scenario where developers build a feature perfectly, but it fails to address the original business problem. By anchoring every piece of code and every test to a core business goal, the RTM proves that the project has delivered exactly what was promised. The first step in building your RTM is gathering all your foundational project documentation. You cannot trace requirements if you do not have a locked-in set of baseline documents, such as your Business Requirements Document, BRD, Functional Requirements Document, FRD, or your backlog of approved user stories. Once you have these, open a blank spreadsheet and prepare to create a central hub that will link all these disparate pieces of information together. This spreadsheet will serve as the single source of truth from the moment requirements are approved until the final round of user acceptance testing, UAT, is complete. Next step, you need to structure your matrix by defining the essential columns that will track a requirement's entire lifecycle. At a minimum, your RTM needs columns for a unique requirement ID, a brief description of the requirement, and the overarching business objective it supports. From there, you will add columns for the technical design document reference, the developer assigned, and most importantly, the test case ID. This structure creates a clear visual timeline, allowing anyone to read left to right and see exactly how a high-level business goal translates into a specific, testable piece of software. Next step, with the structure in place, the core work of tracing begins by meticulously linking each phase of the project backward and forward. Forward traceability ensures that every business requirement flows smoothly into functional design and ultimately into a test case, proving that the requirement is actually being built. Backward traceability works in reverse, ensuring that every test case and piece of code maps back to a legitimate business requirement. If you find a test case or feature that doesn't link back to an original requirement, you have just identified scope creep that needs to be addressed. Finally, the most critical part of building an RTM is establishing a routine for maintaining it as the project evolves. An RTM is a living document, not a static artifact you create at the beginning of a project and forget about until launch. Whenever a change request is approved or a requirement is modified, you must immediately update the matrix to reflect the new reality. How to create a stakeholder communication plan. Creating a stakeholder communication plan is one of the most proactive steps a business analyst can take to ensure project success and manage office politics. At its core, this plan is a strategic document that outlines who needs to be informed about the project, what information they need, how often they need it, and through which channels. Projects rarely fail because the technical requirements were too complex. They fail because key people felt ignored or were surprised by unexpected changes. A solid communication plan eliminates the dreaded "I had no idea this was happening" excuse by setting clear expectations from day one. Next is the process begins with a comprehensive stakeholder analysis to identify every single person who impacts or is impacted by your project. You must look beyond the immediate project team and the primary sponsor to consider end users, compliance officers, secondary departments, and third-party vendors. Once you have your master list, plot these individuals on a power interest grid to determine how closely they need to be managed. High-power, high-interest stakeholders will require intense, personalized engagement, while low-power, low-interest groups may only need occasional generalized updates. Next is, after categorizing your stakeholders, the next step is determining the specific information needs for each group. Executives and project sponsors generally do not want to hear about sprint velocity or minor bug fixes. They need high-level summaries focusing on budget, timeline, and overall risk. Conversely, The development team and subject matter experts need granular details, blocked items, and daily priority shifts. By tailoring the message to the audience, you ensure that your communications provide actual value rather than just contributing to the noise in their inbox. Next is, once you know what to say and who to say it to, you must establish the cadence and the channels for your communication. This means deciding whether a stakeholder group gets a daily instant message update, a weekly email summary, or a formal monthly presentation. It is crucial to lean on channels that your stakeholders already actively use rather than forcing them into a new tool just for your project. Document this schedule explicitly, for example, noting that the steering committee receives a presentation deck every second Tuesday, so that you can build a predictable rhythm that builds trust. The final step is to formalize this strategy into a simple, readable matrix and share it with your core project team. A standard RACI matrix, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, is an excellent way to summarize these communication rules visually alongside your regular plan. Just like project requirements, stakeholder dynamics will shift over time, so you must revisit this plan at major project milestones to ensure it still makes sense. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.